First weekend of the 2025 AFL finals didn't disappoint. What an awesome weekend of footy. Today's episode of First Shoes, I want to go through Hawthorn and in particular the first half and how they were able to put so much pressure on the Giants, be able to have that scoreboard pressure. The ability to run down and chase from behind, to be balanced at the contest. I've spoken about this quite a lot. It was quite interesting to hear that Patrick Dangerfield spoke about being balanced at the contest. It's something that I've mentioned and highlighted in a lot of the previous videos here on First Shoes. But about having balance, one going to the ball carrier and one staying to attack the receiver. This is exactly what Hawthorn did. But what they actually added to their game was the rundown chase from behind. I don't know how many rundown chase tackles I saw from the game from the weekend, but just in particular, the first half was just outstanding. So let's get in the clips now and I'll highlight how they're able to put so much pressure on the Giants, force the turnovers, and be able to have a great win in the first final for 2025. Okay, so the Hawks are going right at screen. So this is the first centre bounce in the game, and it'll give you a really clear understanding of what their mindset was for the Hawthorn Footy Club. So first centre bounce, ball comes in, great tap. Newcomb's first half was sensational, and then to get it out. But what I want to highlight is just the chase from behind. The game in particular this year, it's gone away from zoning behind the ball. It's gone to a more of a one-on-one. So, take for example, Geelong versus Brisbane. When Geelong played Brisbane down in Kardinia Park, I don't know how long ago it was, probably 2 months ago, where Brisbane was able to carve them up through the midfield and they're able to transition from their forward to back half. And that was because Geelong set up a zone. On the weekend, Geelong went one-on-one. Look at the result. So what's happening when you've got one-on-one behind the ball, you've got to have support from behind. So when there's a turnover, or when you're in possession here, when they flick it out from behind, you've got to be able to close this gap. And this is what Hawthorn did. They closed the gap so quickly that it forced this dump kick. And this is what Collingwood did to Adelaide, the same thing, but it forced these dump kicks. When you force a dump kick, and then you get to your position of one-on-one behind the ball. So you can see here, Ward's looking one-on-one, who are the exits? But then they come up, and then there's one-on-one again. Hardwick, what a game he played. But you force this one-on-one. Then once again, there's a disputed ball. Look at this. Comes off his man. Chase down from behind. So just getting a hand in there, forcing them, the ball carrier to make rush decisions, turnover. Then when they get the ball in hand, this is how they're able to dissect. Quick hands, inside forward 50. So that was their DNA, and they worked at a treat in that first half. Doesn't stop play here. It's still in the first quarter. So these are all from the first half. So Hawks are going right at screen, and you'll just see the intensity from behind. This is what I'm highlighting. People are talking about the defensive structure. Yes, they defended so well. But how? So from my review of the first half, how they defended was behind. And the key to that is that when the players got the ball in hand, facing up the ground, you have to have pressure. They haven't got eyes in the back of the head, so they can't turn nowhere. That's where you get them. That's where you can suffocate most sides, but in particular the Giants, who love to run and carry. So going away, hand pass receive, but look at that, come off. So Newcomb, chase down, tackle, give away, tackle, stop play. That happened so many times in the first half. So the ball gets kicked down the line, the ball in dispute. So this is just watch Hawthorn where they come from behind. So handball out, look at this. Already eyes for the receiver. I think that's more. He was awesome with his work rate, work ethic. Not overcommitting. So making sure that you're just forcing. He's either going to kick on his left or he has to hand pass it. In this situation, hand passes. Bang, Moore's got him. Another stop play. But this is what they did for the whole first half. So another centre bench clearance there. Hawks going right of screen. They kick it inside forward 50, and just watch Moore here. Ball comes in, good setup, but look, that's Moore there. Front and centre. Really good position by both of them there. Ball hits the ground. Look at him put his head down. I'm focusing on Moore here. Head down. We know how much of a great runner he is. But this is what the Giants love. They love to win the ball in the back half and be able to take off. But they just had no exits, no gaps whatsoever. Look at that chase down tackle. Chase down, put pressure on. So that inside forward 50, the defensive structure was super. But also in between the arcs, so they were able to get that turnover and then go back inside their forward 50. So the forwards have done their role. They've forced a dump kick out. And then they get the ball here, great hands, and this is what I'm saying about, and then the really good decision there from Battle. So all the traffic's here, all the traffic's in this area, they're all rushing forward. So that's where all the numbers are, but to kick off the line, to be really smart, and this is where they use their hands. Give the hands, and then goal. So really smart play, but it was the effort and the run from behind from the forwards that forced that dump kick out of their forward line. So you can see here, so one-on-one, and one-on-one. So this has been a big shift, in my opinion, behind the ball. A lot of clubs are now going one-on-one. So a lot of clubs, because they're so skillful, being able to pick off players that stand in the zone. And the one that comes to mind that consistently did the zone all year was Carlton, and we don't have to tell you where they ended up with their defensive pressure. But all the clubs are able to dissect them, so they go one-on-one. But what makes it really important is that you also have one-on-one, but once the ball goes over your head, in this case I'm talking about Weddle, you've got to be able to push. You're on goal side of your direct opponent. You've got to push the next contest and have an impact, and this is exactly what he does. First game back, I thought Weddle was really good. Pressure around the ball, and him to be able to have an impact was huge. Comes from behind, holding the ball. So there you've got the pressure from behind, pressure in front, but the most important thing that Hawthorn had in the final of the weekend was pressure from behind. So this is the classic one. So down the line, so once again, Hawthorn's going right of screen. Comes to the contest, but just watch. There's pressure from behind, there's pressure from the front, but there's also balance. And there's no over-committing, which is really, really important. The ball comes down the line, hits it, don't get outmarked, which is really important. So a lot of the times you saw Meek down the line when there's a slow play because he's making a contest. And Chol was also very important. So there's the pressure. They're coming in. So there's pressure from the front, pressure from behind. Really important. The most important one, in my opinion, was from behind, which I've mentioned several times. So now he needs to make a decision. He's rushed. Gets a hand out. Here. Comes up. Really important to close that gap. Got to get him. But you don't want to overcommit. You want to get to a position where you know you can either smother, tackle, or force him to kick it. You don't want to overcommit. Doesn't overcommit here. Just hold. See, he's holding his ground. Forcing the kick. Wonderful play from Butler. Awesome effort. Puts it in dispute. Now look at the numbers. 3-on-2. And then once they got the ball, they had the poise to make the right decision, since it's a great kick from Newcomb. Goal. So stop play inside their forward line for Hawthorn. Just rush the ball forward. This should have been holding the ball, mind you. Going through. Ball's in dispute. Cal Shadir. What have I been saying the whole video? Chase down from behind. Bang. And that should have been holding the ball. But there's that pressure. So you've got Watson at the front. So being balanced to make sure you can come off, but not rushing. And this is the time. This is by by Watson standing here and being balanced, and I've spoken about this many times, and I keep talking about it because it's so important. By him just holding, by him just not rushing at Himmelberg, allows for the chase down tackle from behind. So that's the synergy you got to have. You got to have trust. But if he was to go at Himmelberg, where's the hands go? Out. And then they're out. But they didn't allow that to happen from Hawthorn. They were so disciplined. Love this from Chol. Second and third efforts. Goes up for the ruck. Pushes it forward. But what I love about this is because he wins the tap, I know it as a ruck, you know where it's going because you either win the tap or you're trying to smother your opponent in the position it goes. But his reaction time, chase down tackle from behind. Turnover, Ginnivan gets a free kick for high. They go back inside their forward 50. So it comes inside. Giants going right at screen in the second quarter. Comes in their forward half. And once again, it's just this tackling pressure from behind. Hardwick, bang. Nails the tackle. Just that forward, that pressure from behind was brilliant from Hawthorn. So disputed ball in the middle of the ground. And just watch the commitment here. So ball sort of bumbles around a little bit. But there's the pressure. Chol coming up, really good. Go at the ball. And then watch Chol again. So, top of screen here. What's the pressure that he puts on here? Chase down tackle. Gets his arm in there just to put a little bit of pressure on. Pressure from behind. Again. Pressure again. So still not over, just going at it. Making sure you put pressure on from behind. Force them to dump kick it. Impey should have marked it, but he had a super game. But once again, it's just the ability to go from attack to defense to attack to defense was just mind-blowing from Hawthorn. A lot of energy, and probably hence the reason why the Giants came back in the third quarter. But the damage was already done, and then they were able to get their breath back at three-quarter time and be able to go away with the game. But it was this pressure. There it is. Pressure from behind. Pressure from behind from Amon out the full. So that relentless ability to go from contest to contest and put pressure on from behind was what was able to be so beneficial for them winning the game on the weekend. And this play here sums up a lot of what I'm explaining in this video at the moment. So D'Ambrosio comes off and great as a winger to have an impact. Then gets on his feet and he's running from behind. So he's putting pressure on from behind. Gets him to force him to make a rush decision. The hand passes away. There's the Hardwick going at the contest. Coming up, Amon coming up. D'Ambrosio's still involved. Hardwick's still involved. He just tried to lay that tackle on Brown. Ball goes in dispute. Hand pass. And then Hardwick just gets from behind again, puts a contest on, and then that allows for Barras to get a finger on it. And finals footy. It's chaos footy. It's all that sort of stuff. Matter of inches. And gets it right on the line, and there's a point. And then this is just the last play. So a kick in for Hawthorn, kicks it into space, man on. So it doesn't come off. And what I love about this, and I was mentioned this before, about going from attack to defense, but how quickly you got to do it. So Weddle thinks he's in a position here to receive. He thinks that we receive, and then there's a turnover. But instead of actually thinking, oh, I'm flat-footed, look what Weddle does here. Look at that. That leg drive. Straight, get back into the contest. There's that tackle pressure from behind. Ball goes in dispute. Guess who nails him? Weddle. Awesome. So the ability to still stay in the contest, even though you might feel like you're in attack mode, straight back in defensive mode, and it was brilliant. So there you have it. So a lot of people talk about the defensive structure of Hawthorn, and yes, the defensive structure was great, but a lot of people are going to ask, how were they able to implement the structure particularly against the Giants who love to run and carry. It was a pressure from behind. They're just a few clips from the first half. There was so many clips of players coming from behind, whether they got a hand involved, whether they forced a dump kick, whether they laid the tackle. It was so consistent throughout that first half. And I was able to give them so much scoreboard pressure. That is finals footy. They implemented it so well, Hawthorn. Well deserved. And, they're coming up against the side. Collingwood this week, when they play against Adelaide, Collingwood did the same thing, same game plan against Adelaide to be able to win that first final. So it'd be really interesting to see if Hawthorn can still implement that same strategy. So I think they're a big chance to win.